Hello everyone and welcome to Bloodline, the taxonomy of fear, where we examine what, if anything, makes a movie scary.
And this week's we're going to be talking about exorcism horror with the movie The Last Exorcism, which picks up immediately following the events of the first Last Exorcism. And now we are with our protagonist, Nell Sweetzer. She has ended up in a halfway house for young troubled girls in New Orleans to sort of pick up the pieces of her life after the traumatic events of the first installment in the series.
So what you're saying, Jordan, is that The Last Exorcism wasn't really The Last Exorcism because this is part 2.
Exactly. That was the penultimate exorcism, and I believe we've now arrived at the ultimate exorcism.
That's a bit awkward.
Yeah. All right, so what defines an exorcism horror movie for us, Jay?
All right, first and foremost, you need believers. People that believe in a faith that is based on the idea that humanity hangs in the balance between good and evil, because there cannot be a devil without a god, and devils do not possess atheists.
Exactly, and also it seems like they don't possess men, because the second criteria is a male-identified demon with a female victim. And there's a lot going on here that we ended up stumbling upon. Basically, the exorcism process, the possession process, is sort of like just a spiritual rape. You have this male demon invading, you know, against the will of a young, presumably female innocent, and taking her over, and there's a heightened expression of sexuality going on, there's a loss of innocence, and it all, of course, has to be rectified in the end by typically a male savior religious figure to come in and remove that demon from the victim.
Which brings us to number 3, the exorcism as climax. It is it is what you work for. It is the Rocky versus Drago ending. And in this movie, this was a junior varsity team of exorcists.
Oh my God, they
so
really
bad.
brought the B game.
It was like seances we tried to do in boarding school. It was like just covered in weak sauce.
It was 2 inches shy of a Ouija board exorcism. Really dissatisfying, unfortunately.
Yes, but the ending itself was pretty good.
Yeah, I ultimately was on board with the resolution of the movie.
Yes.
So are you from Cult in the Woods or something?
All right, hours of sleep lost. Jordan, how did this movie affect you?
Well, after we really dug into the very close comparisons between rape and exorcism and possession, it got a lot more disturbing for me. So I'm going to say about 2 hours actually in total.
I didn't lose any sleep because I was completely charmed by Ashley Bell's performance.
Absolutely.
She could go from innocent and sweet to horrified and demonic. It was absolutely mesmerizing. She has a career ahead of her.
Yeah, she put this movie on her back, both of them, and really did such a good job. Go Ashley Bell.
Nell?
All right, horror movie survival lessons. Jordan, what did you learn from part 2?
Number 1, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. And these exorcist people, they brought a chicken. They brought neither. It was the worst performance versus a devil that you could possibly imagine.
They brought the kind of chicken that Berkeley hippies use to lay their organic eggs.
Yeah, exactly. This wasn't even a rooster.
Yes. Number 2, buy a big old bag of salt. It doesn't matter what kind of salt, rock salt, kosher salt. In fact, margaritas might be the best drink to bring to an exorcism.
Yeah, that's right. And once you have that margarita in hand, rule number 3, promiscuity is a virtue. That's right. We're throwing out the old horror convention of keep your virginity, because the devil doesn't want to play around with any sort of impure or unvirtuous kind of girls. So gird yourself from satanic possession by being a little fast and loose with your morals.
I think I know who to invite to an exorcism.
You and a margarita. Let's go. Okay, video pick of the week, Jay. What do you got for us?
I'm going to recommend Requiem, which came out in 2006 from Germany. It's based on the true story of a woman named Anneliese Michel who had epilepsy, but she believed she was possessed by demons, and so did her family. And so they subjected her to 67 exorcisms. There's no makeup, there's no special effects, there's no projectile vomiting of split pea soup, but it is one of the most effective and moving and horrifying movies I've ever seen. I highly recommend it, as much as I highly recommend Modern Medicine.
I really appreciate the sort of left of center recommendation there, and I'm going to go with something a little more straight up. I'm going to go with the first movie in this pair of 2, The Last Exorcism, because again, Ashley Bell, I think she's worth watching for another movie, and it actually is a very satisfying found footage approach to the exorcism genre that I really could get behind.
Yeah, good movie.
So that concludes this week's episode of Bloodline. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do contact us, as always, at bloodline@wired.com. And as we like to say here on the show, remember, it's just a movie. And